Welcome to APPMC 2019, and we have Ms. Sakhila with us from LBMA. And it's an great honor to be with her right now. And she has agreed for the interview. So first question I'm going to shoot to Madam. Ma'am, tell us about the new innovation which is coming for the bar integrity.
Sure. So the bar integrity, we've been working on looking at how can we provide more confidence in the precious metals market, so that when traders are dealing in the gold market and they're dealing with gold bars, they know that the gold bar is what it says on the actual bar. So how do you know it's not a duplicate? How do you know it's not a fraudulent bar? So what we've been looking at is how do you identify the right technology to implement so that each bar uses this technology to prove that this bar has been produced by the refiner, that it's actually labeled on the bar. So we've been looking at this for the last year, and we've had a number of responses on the security feature. And the decision has been that we shall set a criteria or standards to recognize a good security feature that refiners should be using as part of their production, basically. So rather than choosing just one security feature, they will have the choice to select from a list of different security features. And so that work, we're looking to hopefully issue a consultation later this year to understand from the market what sort of requirements should these security features have that you would expect to provide you more confidence in the actual trading of those bars. So that's one aspect of gold bar integrity. The second aspect, one that we're all very familiar with, is provenance. So whilst I've said, is the bar what it says on the actual bar? The second one is, where is the actual material coming from? Where is the actual origin of that bar coming from? So we've been looking at blockchain. And I'm pretty sure everybody's heard a lot about blockchain, so I'm not going to sit here and explain what blockchain is. What I'm going to talk about is mainly how can blockchain help with supply chain provenance. And again, we've had so many service providers very interested in engaging with the LBMA, in showcasing their technology, their ideas, and there are some really impressive ideas. I don't actually underestimate some really, really smart ideas, but the challenge is that there's a lot more questions with blockchain than there are answers. So, in terms of the integrity of the data management standards, secondly, and perhaps more importantly, the interoperability between the different blockchain solutions. How does one blockchain solution speak to another blockchain solution? So if you are on one solution and you've got another market participant on a solution B, then how does solution A speak to solution B?
Exactly.
So how do you exchange that information? So that interoperability for us is very important, but one that we don't really have answers to just at the moment. That said, I think the technology is definitely going to prove to be useful at some point. So the role of the LBMA is to be engaged with the service providers to understand how this technology is developing and how this technology can address a lot of the risks to do with supply chain. So whilst we don't have the answer to how we're going to use blockchain solution, for now we are observing and engaging with service providers to learn more before we make a final decision as to how we're going to use it for the precious metals market.
Beautiful. So, this OTC, we are talking about the London OTC market. So, right now, before we started with the interview session, you were talking about the OTC market. Would you like to say something about it?
Sure. So, typically there's been criticism about the London OTC market, that there's not enough data. How big is this OTC market? And transparency always helps with regulators. Transparency also helps with market confidence, because actually investors who are looking at their portfolio, if they can see the liquidity in a gold market and actually see that there is a lot more activity, or understand a little bit more in terms of how these markets behave, have a bit more data to help them with their analysis, it always helps both investors, regulators, and the market participants when speaking to their clients. So we've been working on a project for the last 3 years now on gathering data from market participants on their daily trading activity. And it has taken a number of years, primarily because it is a voluntary regime. So it's voluntary in the sense that there's no regulatory requirement, but it's mandatory if you're an LBMA member that you have to report your daily trading volumes to LBMA. So November 2018, we went live with our public dissemination of trade data. So if you visit our website, you'll get all the sort of the historical data from November as to how big the London OTC market really is. But this is not the full London OTC market. This is just the LBMA members' share of the London OTC market.
Okay.
So on average, you've got trading volumes of 40 billion US dollars.
Okay.
That you would again get a little bit more breakdown if you go to our website and download this data. And also, we have a lot more information that we are publishing through datasets, so you can get data on the option matrices, option strike prices. You can get data on the volume in price tranches. So there's a lot of data sets that we're also publishing, which you can sign a license agreement for too, and we'll be able to share that information with you. So if you're interested in the precious metals market, gold, silver, there's a lot of data that we now house that we can share with you. Get in touch with us and we'll talk to you about it in more detail.
Definitely, ma'am.
Great.
Thank you so much for your time, first of all. And second of all, I want to ask, how is your experience going in APPMC till yet, and what do you...
I mean, it's fantastic how much this conference has grown just over the last 3 years. So, you know, in the fact that there's like over 400 people at this conference is very impressive. So well done to Albert and the team for, you know, marketing and getting so much engagement from the international participation. And actually, the other good thing is there is a lot of international representation here. So catching up with a lot of people and trying to understand what they're interested in is Asia, how is Asia growing as a major hub for the gold market. So again, lots of useful information, lots of meetings, catching up with people, understanding how things have changed over the last 12 months, over the last 3 years. So always very excited to be back in Singapore. Yes.
Thank you so much.